may be armed.
Didn't question any of the people over here who were happily taking pictures with the National Guard. This is ABC News, all right? This is ABC News, and they have all of these people who seem to be happy that the National Guard is there to keep them safe. And then they find the one fringe. So let's see. He hasn't particularly felt unsafe. That's coping. And then he says that there's been carjackings and whatnot. So which is it? Is there crime in your city, or is there no crime in your city? Did you have a homelessness epidemic, or did you not have a homelessness epidemic? Or were the pictures that we were seeing and the reports that we were seeing and the whistleblowers that came forward to say that the DC Police Department had been instructed to fudge the numbers, and they'd been doing it for years to fake the drop in violent crime? You find the fringe guy who will agree with your narrative and then leave out the people who are clearly happy to see the National Guard. I want to find the narrative for undocumenteds being arrested. So I'm going to skip forward. If you're watching this after the fact, I hope you bear with us, because we essentially are trying to thread the needle where there's so much happening and we just need to go straight to the point. There we are. Okay. This narrative is weird because he's actually saying that some types of crimes went up. I'm trying to understand the angle that ABC is taking on this. They're literally saying that crime went up. So we're going to go back and we're going to start from
week before.
All right. So this is the DC Union giving the... So ABC is calling the police union liars.
Union station, as we're also learning about 40% of people who've been arrested are undocumented immigrants.
Criminal, illegal immigrants. Undocumented is people who overstayed their visa. Oh no, undocumented, yeah, those aren't undocumented. If you came in with a visa, you're not undocumented. Okay, so these are criminal, illegal immigrants. You crossed the border, you committed a crime against the country, you entered illegally. It is a crime. So let's not conflate things. All right. It's so dishonest for us to continue to hear this and just let it skate by. They've succeeded. ABC, TDSBC, and company have gaslit the entire world into believing that someone who breaks into your country illegally is not a criminal. Right. Someone who is in your country illegally is not a criminal. Right. What is the definition of illegal? Someone who committed a crime. So why is it so hard to understand? Are we empathetic to the fact that there are people who struggle to live in their own countries and they need to move to a new country in order to get the opportunities that they lack in the countries that they came from? Yes, we are empathetic with them, but they should do it legally. They should do it legally. No one has a right to live in the United States but the citizens of the United States. No one has a right to the United States but the citizens of the United States, and to those that they extend an invitation to come in. That is the way it works everywhere. That's the way it works where people are sane. And so, sorry for the rant, but I can't help it when I run into the insanity that comes from this report is important, and I hope you follow me on this. When a city is overrun with crime and you have undocumented immigrants, they may not be committing violent crime. They're trying to make a living. They're under the radar, just trying to make a living, and then the federal government steps in to deal with the criminal situation or the crime situation that is affecting the citizens of the country or of the city. And in order to do that, they have to do stop and search. They need to stop and frisk. They need to do certain things which are the practice of law enforcement when they're brought into a situation where the criminals have been running rampant for a while. In a bid to do job A, they then begin to find out that, oh, you have a broken tail light, like in the last report that we covered. You have a broken tail light. Okay, that's a violation. You need to look into that. This other thing that you did, comes up. Okay, you're not driving with a seatbelt. That's a problem. And then you run into this guy who can't provide you with ID because Washington, D.C. is a sanctuary city. And most of the illegal immigrants flee to these cities to avoid being deported. And then because Washington, D.C. did not take care of the crime in their city, a flashlight was shown on their city, and the unintended results happen where illegal immigrants get caught up in the dragnet. That's the way it works. I hope you followed me so far. That's the way it works. Now, if it's hard for people on the left to understand that creating problems in your city inadvertently creates more problems, not just for the citizens, but for other people that you want to be compassionate to. They're trying to be compassionate to people who enter their country illegally. But in overlooking the crime rate in their city, they are bringing the full weight of the American justice system on that city to solve the crime problem. And whoa, what do we have here? A few criminal illegal immigrants trying to go to their under-the-table jobs, get stopped with no ID. They get ushered into ICE detention. That's the way the world works. And so when you have ABC joining the chorus with NBC, mewling about crime, law enforcement being law and order being enforced, it is comedic to watch. It is sad for those who get caught up in it, who are honestly just trying to make a living in the United States. However, there are laws on the books that need to be followed. Let's look at the comment section, and we will just read a couple of comments because, it is part of what we do here. We try to see what people in these spaces say, because, when you're a conservative and you only circle the conservative space, it's easy to find yourself in a bubble, okay? And if we accuse leftists of being in a bubble, we should also avoid being in a bubble ourselves. So that's why we open up and try to see what the guys on the left are saying. So here's what these commenters on ABC are saying. Safer because we reclassified crimes as other crimes to remove them from the books, while activist judges let people off as not guilty despite evidence. Okay, I am surprised. I am surprised. This is Xavier Magnus 8310. Right, common sense comment. Richard Caldron says, that mayor does not speak the truth. We need rule of law. Oh my goodness. ABC is being ratioed on their own platform. Clyde Denby 1436 said, Washington, D.C. should be the cleanest and safest city in the country. State governors should make their capitals the safest in their states. And then on down to the municipal levels. Hard stop. I am surprised. I thought I would meet the same crowd as I saw on MSNBC, but clearly, deport Governor Polis of Colorado. He's destroying Colorado. All right, enough said. ABC, you guys have a diverse crowd from what I can see. Congratulations. God bless our police officers in all 50 states. Amen. Just because you went from 4th worst city to 8th worst city in the country, it's not deserving of a pat on the back. Oh my goodness. We need law and order. God bless the troops. They need these cops in the dark areas of the city. All right, I could read these comments all day.